So, over the last year, I've been working in a few countries and visiting a few countries, and I don't really want to divulge a conversation or sources, but Seminarian has reached out to me, not in Ireland, but somewhere else where I worked this year, and told me that they have been told that if they are seen at a traditional Latin Mass of any kind, anywhere, questions will be raised about their suitability for ordination, which I thought was very, very telling and interesting. We're not talking about a seminarian going to an SSPX Mass. We're talking about a seminarian going to Fraternity St. Peter or an Institute of Christ the King Mass or a Diocesan Traditional Latin Mass. The news has reached this seminary that if you're seen at any traditional event of any kind, your suitability for ordination will be called into account, and you'll be hauled in and interviewed. The Inquisition, the church Gestapo will be out in force, so they'll be trawling through social media posts. Poor seminarians. Imagine, if you go to one of these events, an ordination of a cousin of yours or something like this, and then you're called in and you're said, well, why did you go there? And are you really suitable for the priesthood? Because the church needs to get rid of this mindset, it seems. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going on here. I think we've gone from 10 years ago, we've done a complete 180 on how we're going to form, treat. I don't know where things are going. And it's a very, very heated time. Look, I could say a lot more about this, a lot more about what's going on in the church. I don't think it's going to add anything, and I don't want to be part of the confusion anymore, because it's just draining. But what I will say to bishops and priests, what I will say, and I will continue to say this, you've turned your backs on Our Lady. You're turning your backs on Our Lady's warnings. We are in the times, living through the times that Our Lady warned us about. I'm not going to go back and regurgitate messages again. Our Lady, for example, she came to Kibeho in Rwanda and warned people what was going to happen. And what did happen? She's been warning us time and time and time again. And it's quite interesting, if a seminarian is seen as any way traditional, he's not suitable for the priesthood. Like what type of men are suitable for the priesthood in the church today? I don't know. What type of men are suitable for the Roman Catholic priesthood in the church, in the diocesan system in the church today? Can somebody, we've seen bishops' conferences around the world coming out with completely contradictory statements. One saying that priests will have to do something, and if they don't do it, they'll be reprimanded. And other bishops saying that if you do this, you will be reprimanded. I mean, unprecedented confusion over basic tenets of the Catholic faith. Unprecedented. Never in the church's history have we been at this level of confusion about basics of what a priest should be doing. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that some dioceses are now forming a church Gestapo that will monitor what seminarians are doing. And if you're seen at all at a traditional Latin Mass, you will not. Your suitability for ordination will be called into question. It's not like they're going to stop you being, but they'll quiz you. Well, why were you there? What were you doing at that Mass? Are you maybe you're too rigid? You're not suitable for the priesthood. You have some psychological problem that you're going to traditional Latin mass. You have a psychological. We need to send you to a therapist to check you out to see why you're going to these old rites of the church. Incredible. I wonder what would happen if they went to a Greek Catholic rite or something like that, I do wonder. I do wonder. And again, I'm not going to name the diocese, but I think people can guess where I've been working this year, and kind of put two and two together and leave it at that. But pray for the church. We live in interesting times. I'm not going to monetize this video, and I'm turning off the comments. I just don't want to deal with that. But you need to know. You need to know what's going on. Inform yourselves. Read the messages Our Lady has left you. Read the messages Our Lady has left you. Has Our Lady in Medjugorje over the course of 40 years what has she been doing? What has she been saying? What has she been saying in Garabandal? What did she say in Akita? What has Our Lady been warning us about regarding the times we actually live in? That now we have actually the fulfillment of prophecy right before our eyes. You are watching prophecy being fulfilled right before your eyes. 60 years ago in Garabandal, when she gave that message, nobody would have believed in the church that things like that would happen. Nobody. Yet look where we are 60 years later. Look where we are. Look where we are. When she gave the message in 1973 in Akita, approved messages. Approved. Worthy of belief. Read those messages, and you are seeing them fulfilled before your eyes. Mark McLean on his channel, he's done a whole timeline of this, and I just asked people to go to his channel, Mark McLean, and he's done a video of the whole timeline on what Our Lady's been saying. And, we can disregard it. Oh, it's private revelation. It's this, it's that. Medjugorje is a fraud and Garabandal isn't approved and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think it's time people, review what she's been saying. Anyway, pray for the church. It's not about dividing the church. I just think it's very interesting. It's very telling what is happening at the church this moment in time. The things that you're not allowed to do in the church, that is strictly forbidden. It is forbidden. It is forbidden. They don't say that. But they don't say you're forbidden from going to traditional Latin Mass, but they say if you go there, your suitability for ordination will be called into question. If you're seen at a traditional Latin Mass, your suitability for ordination will be called into question. That is very telling. That is very telling in today's church. What type of men do they want ordained in seminaries today? What type of men? That'll be able to do certain things that other priests would never do. That's what they want. That's what's happening. You have to get with the new program. And maybe I'm sounding a little Taylor Marshall here, but I mean, guys, people know me personally. Like, I ask, guys, what is going on in the church? What is going on that we went from a sacred rite that we held sacred for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, that nourished saints for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, a sacred rite that, whether you like it or not, has been permitted by Pope Paul VI, with the Agatha Christie Indult, has been permitted by John Paul II, it's been permitted by Pope Benedict, and in some way or form it's still permitted by Pope Francis. But the new program in the church is to make sure that it gets destroyed and corralled and restricted as much as possible. Why? I mean, why? Why? You know, if we share the same faith, the same practice, you know, if there is a hermeneutic of continuity, which the church has been bending over backwards to try and say there is hermeneutic of continuity, we don't bless things today that we wouldn't have blessed 50 years ago. Or do we? Is there a hermeneutic of continuity in the church? Think about, is there an actually hermeneutic of continuity? And for people that don't understand that word, it just means, you know, we were told, and this is what I was told in seminary in 1990s, that nothing changed in Vatican II, that the faith of the church didn't change in Vatican II, that what we did before Second Vatican Council, we continue to do after Second Vatican Council. Okay, there was there was supposed to be increased participation, and it was supposed to help the church, and you know, and there was a lot of good reasoning and I'm not here criticizing Vatican II, but look where we are today in the church. Look where we are today in the church. In Ireland, 1,000 churches will be closed. They will be closed. They will be mothballed. They'll be maybe opened once or twice a month, maybe for a wedding or a funeral or something like that. They will be closed. You will not get a funeral mass at your funeral. I mean, this is where we're going in Ireland in the next 25 years. By 2045 in Ireland, 1,000 churches will be closed or mothballed or, you know, sold off. We look at the UK, 2,000 churches have been closed, the Anglican Church, or more. And growing. As we rush to make ourselves more relevant to the world, people are wondering, why would I go to that? It's not interesting. What's happening at that Mass? Might go if there's a carol service, or if there's an event, or if there's a wedding, a funeral, Christmas, Easter. I might go to them. You know, it's nice, it's comfortable, it's warm and fuzzy. I've done my religious obligation but like every Sunday, no, we don't go to Mass every Sunday anymore. Less and less importance is going to be given to the Eucharist. That's what we were told 60 years ago. Less and less importance is going to be given to the Eucharist. Bishops, wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Why would 4 girls in the hills of Spain 60 years ago been given that message? Of all the messages, why would the girls invent that message 60 years ago if not from Our Lady? Less and less importance will be given to the Eucharist. Bishops against bishops, cardinals against cardinals, bishops leading people to hell. Bishops and priests leading, I mean, I'm sorry, these messages are pretty harsh. Just go and read them. Akita, Garbandal, you might say, oh, it's prophecy, it's private revelation, we don't have to believe that, and Medjugorje is fake, Medjugorje is this, and Medjugorje is that. I wonder what the messages of Medjugorje are. It's amazing, isn't it? Interesting times. Less and less importance will be given to the Eucharist to such an extent. We live our lives any way possible, but we won't bend our will to the will of God. I mean, I as you know, my frustration in all of this, because I think we could be doing so much more. I think we could be feeding people with the living tradition of the church of prayer. But if you do not speak the truth in charity, if you're in a position where you need to speak the truth in charity, and you do not speak the truth in charity, you are utterly failing the church and the next generation. The greatest threat, it seems, in the church today is an old Mass that was said with reverence. I mean, we can't even, sometimes the new Mass can't even be said with reverence. It's a theatre, it's a show. We can't even respect the body, blood, soul, and divinity sometimes. We don't even know what is the faith and morals of the church that we're supposed to be defending and asking people to live, calling people to a higher. I mean, read the messages of Our Lady. Read the messages. Pray for the Pope. Pray for the Pope. I'm not here wanting to divide the church, and pray for the Pope, but read the messages of Our Lady. Read those messages. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.